milestone payment. There is also another type of payment which is bullet payment. Bullet payment, that means one single payment. The contractor will construct the work until it is completed, and then they will receive a single bullet payment at the end. Okay, when they complete the job. Okay? So our focus, firstly, let's look at the terminology that is involved in defining the cost of the work. Okay? Let's start with JCT. You have all this terminology that for you to understand. Contract sum. When you sign the contract, that is the sum indicated in that. Right? You have gross valuations. Gross valuations is the value of the work done, completed at that particular point of time. Alright, that is called gross valuations. Meaning to say, come the end of the month, as the contractor, you will prepare claim, submit to the quantity surveyor or submit to the project manager. Yeah, Mr. US, this is my claim for the month of the last month. For the month of October, I have completed structural 60%, 80,000, blah blah blah. So it total up to 300,000. So the QS will go and check on the site whether that is true or not and come up with his own calculations. That is called gross valuations. Alright? After the gross valuation has been prepared, then they will be issued with the interim certificates. It's called interim because it is just for that particular month. Right? Valid for that particular month. The next month is going to be another interim certificates. Right? Another new certificate will replace that certificate. That's why it's called interim certificates. Right? And then at the end of the project, final account, final certificates. Right? Final certificates might not be the same as the contract sum because you have changes, variations, you have claims, loss and expense. There are so many things that can affect the contract price. Okay? So the same concept apply to Philip. You have contract price, gross valuation, interim certificate, and final payment certificate. Principle is the same. That's why I always emphasize that if you understand the concept in one form of contract, then you have no issue of administrating another form of contract. Right? The terminology is a bit different. NEC use the price to indicate the contract sum. The price done for works to date, which is the interim certificate, alright, and the defined cost, which is the final certificate, final cost of the work, right? So that's as far as defining the cost of work is concerned. These are the terminology that you should be familiar with. Alright? So, JCT terminology, gross valuation, I already explained just now. In contractor interim applications and payment notice. Now, the important thing for you to observe when you go out to work in the industry is to understand the procedure involved in claiming for the money that you are entitled to. There are procedures being set up in the contract. Yeah? Like over here, this is the procedure for interim payment applications. Application by the contractor for interim applications, yeah, may not less than 7 days before the due date. If the work is on monthly, you start the work on the 1st, and the contract say interim payment is on monthly, meaning to say it will be due by 31st or 30th, depending on the month. So by the 23rd, 7 days before the due date, you must submit the applications. Alright? The interim application can then turn to interim payment notice if interim certificate is not issued. Now, for SDC 2016, it tried to be fair to the party. If the contractor already submitted the applications, the architect go for holiday overseas, nobody attend to that certificate, and no interim certificate was being issued. What it says here that interim application can then turn to interim payment notice if interim certificate is not issued. Whatever that you claim, that is the value of the interim certificate. So after you submit, the contract says within 5 days, architect need to issue. On the 6th day, you didn't receive the certificate, it becomes interim payment notice. You take that certificate, go to the client office, present it to the client. Mr. Client, I did not receive interim certificates. Therefore, this is the interim payment notice. Please pay within 21 days. So that is the value that you want to receive. Because there is no gross valuation done. Nobody certified. So whatever you claim is what you get. Right? So that is the concept. Yeah? That is the risk. One of the risks. So in your report, you must analyze this. Understand what are the risks that is involved. Right? Pay less notice. A notice given by the employer indicating the contractor to pay less from the sum that is due to the contractor. Alright? So once the employer receives the interim certificate, alright, if he thinks that the contractor is entitled lesser than that, then he can issue a notice to the contractor. Mr. Contractor, right? The interim certificate indicates that 200,000 is due to you. Okay. However, in the past month, there has been an outstanding amount that is yet to be settled in our account. Therefore, I'm going to pay you lesser, minus 50,000. So he can deduct that amount from the amount due to the contractor. Alright? Because he never. Let's say, for example, the contractor did not repair the works. The defective work, the contractor did not repair, and the employer has engaged a third party to come and repair the defective work. And that repair cost is 3,000. So the employer is going to deduct that 3,000 from the amount due to the contractor. That is pay less notice. Alright? For Malaysia, bank condition of contract, we don't have this option yet. This is only for the form. Right? Our form in Malaysia here doesn't have these options. Whatever that is Yeah, of course they have to. They have to provide the documentation. Yes.
So sorry, but can you re-explain that?
Regarding payless notice. Payless notice, as here says, is that the employer have the right to pay lesser than the amount certified in the interim certificate. There are situations that allow the employer to deduct the money that he paid to the contractor. One of the examples that I cite just now, defective work. If the work is defective and the contractor is instructed to repair, to make good, but he doesn't do it, and then the employer has the right to engage the third party to come and repair. The employer pay for the cost of the repair, let's say 3,000. So when the interim certificate comes, the employer will deduct that amount. Of course, we propose the limitations, right? That this 3,000 is because of your defective work, you did not repair, I engage the third party, now I'm deducting it from the money due to you. So that is payless notice. You get that? Alright, interim certificate, regular retention. Now, in construction contract payment, we retain certain percentage of the money paid to the contractor. What is the purpose of that retention? Number one, to be used if the workmanship is poor, alright, as a guarantee of his performance for the project. So you have retention, a proportion of sum withheld by the employer until the end of the project to ensure contractor completes the work. Alright? So yesterday, if you look at the timeline, managing time yesterday, this sum will eventually be released to the contractor. So let's say 1 million contract, the amount that is being retained is 5%. The minimum is 3% according to the contract, but the percentage can be imposed, higher percentage can be imposed by the employer. So let's say he imposed 5%. So 5% is 50,000, right? So he will retain, every certificate, he will retain 5%, 5%, 5% until the end of the project. When the project is finished, complete already, so he has already completed the work, that retention sum will be released half, 50%. So in the last certificate, interim certificate, the work done plus the release of 25,000, half of the amount paid to the contractor. Another half, what happened? After the rectification period. When the rectification period has been completed, contractor already rectified all the defective work, the other half of that money will be released to the contractor.
So, say they don't complete on time and they start to pay liquidated damages, that doesn't actually affect retention.
That doesn't really affect the retention. Liquidated damages and retention is two separate issues. Yeah, two separate issues. Alright. Retention bond. As an alternative of employee deducting retention, the contractor can obtain a retention bond which pay the employer if the contractor default on the contract. Now, some contractor do not have the financial strength. So they will negotiate with the employer. Mr. Employer, please do not retain the money due to me because I need it for my cash flow. So what I'm going to give to you is a bond. Normally, this bond is provided by financial institution like bank. Because as a business organization, you have an account with the financial institutions. The financial institution have the record of your business transactions and they are confident to provide the bond to you. Alright, so the bank will issue the bond on behalf of the contractor, says that, okay, if this contractor is default, doesn't complete the work, I can assure you, I guarantee that I'm going to pay you 5% of the contract sum, which is 50,000. That is the bond. Alright? So the bond is in lieu of retention sum. So what happened? Let's say the contractor did not perform. Alright? He failed to complete the project. So the client will take that bond together with the architect documentation of proof of his non-performance. Go to the bank and cash out the bond. Yeah? Mr. Bank, this is the bond that you provided to me. Now the contractor has defaulted. He did not complete the job. Please pay me the amount that you have agreed to guarantee 50,000. So the bank will pay to the client. So that is the mechanism of bond.
So what's the consequence for the contractor if that was to happen?
What is the consequence?
So they just wouldn't get the money.
The consequence is that it is up to the bank financial institutions to deal with the contractor and get his money back. So as far as the client is concerned, I already got the money.
Yes.
Does the bank make a complaint legally on that bond if it was cheated by the contractors or not? So I would want to give the bond to
The bank, of course, when the bank issue the bond to the contractor, he will charge the service charge. He will charge the service charge. Okay? So how much the contract sum is the price charged by the contractor to construct the work in accordance with the contract. Alright? All this, according for NEC, the term is being referred as the price. Alright? For FIDIC, the contract price is the amount charged by the contractor to construct the work is the same as here. It's the same as here. So that's the definitions of the contract sum. Okay? Now, what is a fluctuation clause? If a fluctuation clause is present, the cost can be recalculated. You know that the duration is very long, 2 years. Prices of material can go up and down, up and down. Alright? In private project, we don't care. Mr. Contractor, that is your risk. You price accordingly. I'm going to pay you the amount that you signed for. That is your risk. You take care. It's not my problem. In government project, they are much more friendly. Right? So they have this clause known as fluctuation clause. Fluctuation clause, if it is present, allow the contractor to claim for extra money if the material price increase. So how do you know how much it increased? How do you justify that increase? Consumer Price Index published officially by the Statistics Department. When you sign the contract, the index for the steel is 100. Come to the third month, the index go up to 110. That means there is a 10% increase of the material price. So you are entitled to claim. There will be a formula of calculations provided in the contract for you to calculate the amount that you are entitled to claim. Right? So that is the fluctuation clause. JCT, yes, there is an option inside there. Option is available inside there for you to indicate whether it's going to be applicable or not. NEC also have. Yeah, fluctuation. Right? Variations. If you are working for a contractor, this variation section should be your favorite section because it allows you to claim additional money on top of what has been stipulated in the contract sum. Right? So variations, yeah, for FIDIC, the engineer can determine a change in the contract price and include in the next payment certificate. Before we go to that, you must understand what is variation. Variation number one constitutes the change of the work. Change of the work can be many things. Number one, you change the material. First, the design says it's carpet. Now you want marble. Change. Alright? Change in the sequence of work. Alright? The contractor says, I'm going to install the carpet. Okay? The client says, hold on, don't install the carpet, I have equipment coming in. Delay. Whatever changes is the opportunity for the client to make money, for the contractor to make money. Alright? Change in the procedure of the work. Right? So variations constitute all this. Alright? Many avenues that allow you to play. Okay? The contract price is the live price including variations. Live price means you sign the contract 1 million, it doesn't mean you end up getting 1 million. You might be getting lesser because some of the work is omitted. You might be getting more because the client add extra work. So it's a live price. That is applicable to all the forms, not just FIDICs. Yeah? The engineer issue instruction to the contractor to implement variations. So again, remember, follow the procedure. Same thing as interim certificate. Before you do works on variations, make sure that you receive an instruction. Verbal, not valid. The engineer tell you, okay, please change. This is not nice. I want another material. Alright? Not valid. It is only valid when you confirm it. Mr. Engineer, during your site visit on such and such date, you have verbally informed us to replace the carpet with marble tile. Please confirm it and issue an instruction to us. Confirm. You need the instructions. Right? Yes, same. The concept is there. Right?
So,
Yeah,
every day.
yes. If the architect just verbally tell you during his visit to the site, you just write back to him to confirm his verbal instructions. Alright, so okay, this is about submissions of quotations. Whenever that you want to change, yeah, when there is an instruction to change, the contractor must submit the proposal. How much is going to cost? What are the time, the impact of the time, yeah, and the cost of the works. Yeah, so this will be evaluated. Variation doesn't only change the cost, it is also have the impact on time. Why? Because you need to order the material. You need to wait for the material to be delivered. Carpet installations and marble installations, different method of work. Carpet installation, very fast. You just put the underlay, put the carpet on it. Marble installation, you need a sand scrape. You need to scrape the base, let it dry. Then only you can take the marble and put on top of it. So it's a different timing. So not just it has effect on cost, it also has effect on time as well. Right? JCT instruction address how the work is being permitted. Variations change what the work are. So over here, as I described just now, there are two types of variations. Variation number one, variation that change the drawing and the specifications, meaning to say change the type of the material, change the brand of the material. Even we change the brand also, it's a variation. Alright, don't want to use China brand. China brand not good, use other brand. Right? So you change. Whatever that you change is a variation. Change the drawing and change the specifications. The original design, the script is 10 mm. No, I do not want 10 mm. I want it 15 mm. Change the specification. That is a change. Alright? The second type of variation is that oblige the contractor to use certain working method, working at night, noise restrictions.
So would that be written into the contract that they would be expected to work at certain times, or would a contractor submit for that variation?
Very good questions. If the contract, let's say now, your project, imagine your project is constructing a condominium in the middle of the city center. Next to it, there is an existing condominium occupied. Alright? Now, in that particular situation, normally, contractors are expected to adopt a working method that reduce the noise. Spell out inside the contract. So that become part of the contract. Okay? So the contractor cannot claim. However, if that problem was not identified by the consultant, let's say he worked, alright, at night, he worked during the daytime, normal working hour, and the client received the complaint from the condominium occupier next door. Complain to the local authority saying that the work for this project, my baby cannot sleep. Okay? So, that notice comes to the client. So the client say, okay, you need to reduce the noise, use the method that restrict the noise. The contract say, I'm not at fault, I'm working during the normal working hours, not at night. you have to do this because of that regulation, so the contractor can claim for that. Because of that special method, he incur additional cost. He need to put up a hoarding surrounding the site, sound insulation, extra cost. Right? Okay, how do you pay? How do you pay for variation? How do you pay for all these changes? Under JCT, because it is with quantity, for the same work, you use the rates inside the contract. Alright? Take for example, this room. Okay? Now change to marble. Okay, sir, we change to marble. Okay? How am I going to pay you? The next room, we already have marble there. Already have a rate there. So that rate is going to be applied for the work. That's how I'm going to pay you. Use the bill rates. If there is no work in that project, this marble only for this room. Outside of here, there's no. Right? So it will be negotiated. That's how it's going to be paid. The next thing, day work if cannot be measured. What kind of work that cannot be measured? Mr. Contractor, my basement now is full of water. Can you pump it out for me? How do you have to pay for that? Per cubic meter of the water? Ridiculous, right? So, you pay the day work. How many days you rent the pump? 5 days. The rental is 100 per day, 500. How many workers do you engage? 10 workers, $50 per day. So we go what we call as day work. Pay as you use. Alright? But to do that, you got to have somebody there to record it. Verify the record. Make sure the record is correct. Otherwise, this record can be manipulated. They provide 3 workers, but they put inside the day work record as 5 or 7. Claim more. Right? So this is day work. Right? Okay, if the employer is considering material change, the contractor can be asked to submit a variation quotations. Now I want to explain to you what is acceleration quotations. Right? Acceleration quotation. Now the work has progressed according to the program, according to the pace that has been planned by the contractor. Alright? So this room is at the stage where the marble has not been installed yet. Okay? So the client say, Mr. Contractor, for this room, I have an equipment that I need to install. I noticed that the room is not ready yet to receive that equipment. Therefore, can you finish it as soon as possible? Yes, of course I can. I'm going to engage workers to do 24-hour work. I'm going to accelerate the work. I'm going to get more workers and they prepare the quotation. This is called acceleration quotation, to speed up the work upon the request of the employer. If the employer insists. If he accelerates, I am in delay, I need to accelerate, I work at night, that's not my problem. That's your problem. Right? Okay, so that is on the acceleration quotations. Alright, so this is acceleration quotation. The contractor's insurance premium have increased. This is also one part of the variations for the work, yeah, to increase the premium that you can claim. What else? Okay, contract sum can be increased if the contractor has incurred unexpected loss and expense. Loss and expense is a claim for works that is not originally under the scope of the contract, not included inside there. Right? So that is what you call as loss and expense. Let's say excavation for the foundation. Alright? Contractor excavate, suddenly you find rock, big boulders underground. The contract doesn't have that provision. Right? It is totally unexpected. So the contractor incur additional expenses because he need to drill or maybe he need to blast that rock. So this is where loss and expense claim comes in. So what the contractor will do is that, Mr. Architect, during the course of our work we have discovered the rock formations which require to be removed to achieve the required level of the foundations. Alright? So we hereby submit to you the quotations for the work to remove that one because it's not in the original. Yeah? So application for payment has been made, the claim has been submitted. So that work need to be approved and then you can proceed and you will be paid accordingly. Alright? Now contract sum can be increased. Contract sum also can be decreased, up and down. The contractor has not complied with CA instructions and another contractor has been used. Yes?
Sorry, so just to go back to the rock situation,
Yeah.
would that be defined as a relevant event? It would be like if that were to happen, or would it literally just be they found the rock and then they have to apply?
Okay. The two impact, there are two impacts there. As we learned just now. One is the impact on the cost. Impact on the cost you claim under loss and expense. Impact on the time you claim under the relevant event. So there are two different processes to treat, to manage time and cost. Okay, so contract sum can be decreased if the contractor has not complied with CA instruction and another contractor has been used. Like I mentioned just now. Alright, Mr. Contractor, okay, your carpet installations is of poor workmanship. Alright, poor workmanship, that means the joint is not good. Flatness is not there, is undulating. So please rectify the works. Wait for 1 week, no response. Wait for another week, no response. After a few notices, the client engage another party to come and rectify. Cost incurred for that particular repair will be deducted from the amount due to the contractor and deducted from the contract sum. Okay? does not include the concept of variations. Project manager give instruction to the contractor which changes the work information or the key date. NEC have a different concept. A change in the work information is a compensation event. So they don't use variation. The term that they use is compensation event. So you can claim additional payment as the consequence of the compensation event. JCT relevant event. Right? NEC for compensation event. JCT loss and expense. Here we use compensation event to claim the additional payment, not loss and expense. So the principle is basically similar, but the approach is different. Okay? If the project manager instruct the deletion, additions, alterations of the work, then compensation event occur. Same like variation, huh? But the term here is used compensation event. Okay? Okay? Same thing, huh? You can quote. Submit the quotation as JCT just now. This is what the terminology for compensation event is. Compensation event is an event that could slow the contractor progress and or cause the contractor to incur unexpected expenditure. Just like just now, change the door. This is not good. Right? I want a different color. So they change. That is a compensation event. Okay? NEC4, if the project manager, you notice NEC4, they always refer to project manager. Because the main actor in NEC4 is the project manager. The main actor in JCT is CA, contract administrator. The main actor in FIDIC is engineer. He has the power. So FIDIC, engineer, NEC4, project manager, JCT is CA, contract administrator. Right? Alright, this is about the management of the quotes. Yeah? If the project manager failed to instruct the contractor to submit a quotation with a compensation event, the contractor can notify the project manager and claim accordingly. Yeah? Okay, this is again about the procedure. Once instructed, the contractor has 3 weeks to submit quotations under NEC4. 3 weeks to submit quotations, and it must include all these things. Once confirmed, then only they will proceed with the work. Project manager have 2 weeks from receipt of the contractor's quotation to respond. Right? So 3 weeks to submit quotation, 2 weeks for project manager to respond. This is what specified in the contract, but in reality, the situation is very different. Because of the urgency of the work. Sometimes the contractor will take the risk to proceed with the work. That is the risk that they take. If they don't get the approval yet, that is the risk that they take. But because the agency to proceed with the work, they might decide to proceed with the work while this is being processed. Yeah? Of course, the best practice is to wait. Yeah? To wait for the quotation to be approved. That is the best practice. Okay, so quotation resolved. Valuation of compensation event. Same thing like JCT just now. If the BQ is ready, is available, so you use the rates in the BQ. If not, then you negotiate based on the market price. Right? Accelerations, same thing. Yeah. The PM, project manager, can instruct them to accelerate. Yeah. Now, acceleration is not a compensation event. The contractor can respond to such an instruction stating why it's not willing to quote. Alright. So in NEC form, if the contractor say I cannot accelerate, he has the right to do so. Yeah, with justifications. Alright, possible deduction of payment. What can be deducted from payment? Number one, 25% if program not yet submitted. You know that NEC 4 yesterday sessions, program is part of the contract. It must be submitted to the project manager. It must be approved by the project manager. If it is not submitted yet, 25% of the payment will be deducted. Right? Another possible deduction is retention. If you don't have retention bond, then we are going to deduct the retention money from you. And of course, the delay damages. Okay, so that is regarding variations. Variation is one of the hot topics in construction contract because many things can change. You know that there are so many elements of risk in construction project. So all the project will have variations because we cannot anticipate or resolve all these risks during the contract signing. Now, okay, so you already understand the concept of contract sum. You already understand the concept of how this contract sum can be changed because of variations. Now, how do you want to get paid every month? You work, complete the work up to end of the month, you want to get paid through the process of interim payment. Right? Okay, red book, feeding. Contractor submit a statement. Alright. JCT refer it as progress claim. Feeding refer it as a statement. So what do you want to get paid for? What is the element that you are entitled to be paid? Is this what you have completed? If you have a fluctuation clause, you claim for that fluctuation clause. Right? Deduction of retention money, advance advance payment by the employer if you have it. Plants or material offsite. Okay, assembly of plant or material offsite. Let me explain that a little bit. Now, normally in the contract, when you want to get money, the QS will go to the site and check whether the work has been done or not. But not all material is being fabricated at site. For example, aluminium window. Aluminium window is being manufactured in a factory, in a location away from the site. So that is what you refer as material offsite. So you got to go, take the quantity surveyor, go to the factory, check the material, and include in the statement to claim for that money. But you must be careful. You go to the factory, so many materials there. Which one belong to that particular project? So that material must be properly labeled, properly identified as the material for your project, separately stored, distinctively labeled. Then only you can pay. Yeah? For material offsite. Okay? Some contract doesn't have that option. The client say, no, I don't want to pay for the material offsite. So he will strike off the conditions on the material offsite. Because he say, I don't feel safe to pay for the material that has not been delivered to my site yet. So he doesn't want to pay. Alright? Okay, feeding rate book, the engineer has 28 days from the receipt of the contractor statement to confirm that payment, 28 days. Okay, submit has 28 days, very long time, 28 days for him to confirm. Unlike JCT just now, you submit, 5 days the architect need to issue the certificate. Right? You don't issue the certificate, that becomes a valid claim. Okay? So over here, engineer has 28 days. Alright? Employer can withhold payment. This concept is the same as pay less notice in JCT. Pay less notice, this one they refer is withhold payment. Yeah? Work not done according to the contract. For the work that is not done according to the contract, I'm not going to pay you. Okay? Okay, you see over here, plant and material assembled off-site can only be included in the payment if they are listed in the contract data. You have to identify, okay, aluminium frame will be assembled at the factory in Kuala Lumpur. Alright, so it's identified in the contract data, so therefore it will be paid. If it's not identified, sorry, you're not going to get paid. Yeah? Okay, so JCT, what are the process? Contractors submit interim application, just now we learned already for this one. What are included in the gross valuation? JCT, they refer as gross valuations. NEC4 just now, they refer as statement. So gross valuation and statement, yeah? Same concept. Work done. How much have you done? I'm going to pay you. Material or goods stored on site and destined for the work. steel bar, cement, tiles, not yet installed, but already delivered to the site. Roof tiles, ceilings, all these are material stored on site and destined for the work, right? So that one will be paid as well. How do you pay? You get their invoice, huh? Delivery note. Mr. Contractor, give me your delivery note. How much has been delivered to the site? Then you go and physically inspect it. You see? Yes, it is there. You need to verify. You just rely on the delivery note. You verify, yes, it is there. So what is the price for this material? Can you show to me? So you pay the price of the material. Not the rate in the BQ, because the rate in the BQ is rate for labor and material, complete with installations. Don't use the rate in the BQ. You need to get the supply rate because this is the material not yet installed. Right? Not yet installed. Okay, material offsite listed again. If it is listed inside there, then it will be this one. Then next is applications for this one. Contractor submit application for payment before assessment date. Okay. No time frame, but consider giving project manager sufficient time to consider application. So this is the risk. In NEC form. In other form, the time frame has been defined. But in NEC form, no time frame, but consider giving project managers sufficient time to consider. So, what do you mean by sufficient time? 1 day, 2 days, 3 days? We do not know. Huh? Yeah, sufficient time is up to the interpretations. If your claim is very little, so probably 3 days should be enough. Claim is a lot, I need more, 7 days. So there is no preset time frame to issue the certificates. So this is the risk in NEC form. Hello? Okay, and then alright, if no application is submitted, the amount due is lesser of the amount project manager assessed, alright, as due at the assessment date. The amount due at the previous assessment date, potential of either zero payment. What does this mean to you? If the contractor, the QS, quantity surveyor of the contractor go on leave, the whole office forget to submit claim, this is what going to happen. The amount project manager assessed as due, it is up to the project manager to determine the value. You don't submit, fine. Okay, this month I think it's worth 50,000. It's up to the project manager to assets. And potentially, the project manager might say, I don't think that there is any progress this month. Maybe he's lazy to go to check. Yeah? You are already in a very bad relationship with the project manager. Now is the time for him to get back to you. Right? Okay, you don't submit. Thank you very much. I don't think there's not much work to be done. No money due to you, sorry. So 0 payment. So in NEC4, you must submit. You don't submit, you are at the mercy of the project manager. Yeah? Okay, so that's on interim payment. You learn about the process, what is the procedure, when do you need to submit. You learn about what is the component of the interim certificate. You pay for work done, material on site. You pay for cost and expense, additional claim. Okay, that's the two things that you need to understand about interim payment. Procedure, the timing to submit, what I can claim. The two things that you need to understand about interim payment. We also talk about retention just now. Every interim certificate, we retain certain percentage of the money for the purpose of guaranteeing the contractor complete the work. So let's see how this mechanism works, retention. Yeah? Under FIDIC, the percentage of retention is agreed in the contract data. So the contract data in FIDIC indicate how many percent. Alright? Okay? The first half of the retention money is released when taking over certificate is issued. Same like JCT, first half you release practical completion. Remaining release in the final payment certificate. Same like JCT, you release after the expiry of defects liability period. Okay? JCT define 3%. You don't say, you don't have any other, you don't impose on different rate. The contract say you can retain 3%. But if you agree, you can retain higher. Yeah? And provide retention bond, as I said just now. Yeah? If the contractor default, retention bond will be paid out. We already covered that. This is the sample of what? Statement of retention. NEC4, retention operate differently to other construction contract. There must exceed a retention-free amount before retention can be deducted. Once this threshold is crossed, the agreed retention is deducted from each further payment. That means, how this operates is that in retention, the retention for NEC4 must reach certain threshold. Meaning to say, retention will be applied after the work has reached 500,000 of value. Before 500,000, no retention. Unlike in JCT, unlike in FIDIC, you start from the beginning. Every interim certificate you retain. Here, you have a threshold. Yeah? Once this threshold defects liability period lah. Right, that is the defects liability period. Okay, a period of time is given to the contractor to make good the defects. Once you make good everything, then only retention will be released. Final payment will be made. If you don't make good, you don't pay him. Because he doesn't perform. Right? Performance doesn't mean that you complete the work 100%. Performance means that it also include you make good, repair, rework for the work that is of poor workmanship. Okay? Okay, this is the timeline, the rectification period for so final payment. Okay, final payment. PD grade book says after issue of taking over certificate, the contractor has 84 days to submit statement for the final cost. That means you have to close this account in 84 days, which is close to 3 months. Right? After you finish. Okay? So you must compile all your claims, all the additional costs, and submit within 3 months. That is a challenge. A challenge because you need to compile, you need to get the quotation from your subcontractor, get the quotation from your supplier to ensure that all the additional costs, all the variations, all the changes has been included in the final claim. It sounds very long, but the process is very tedious. In the real world, it's tedious because you know that when you want to claim for additional work, first thing you've got to have instruction. If you don't have a proper document control, you will struggle to get that instructions to support that claim. You need to get the instructions. This is the instruction, this is the claim. Put together, then only it can be paid. Right? So you got to have a good document control. Alright, so the statement must include all the work done, any other sum the contractor believe are due. The contractor believe 1,001 thing that can be claimed. You know? Whatever that they think affected their cost, they will put in inside there. Right? So you can find a lot of rubbish inside there. Yeah. Unjustified claim. Estimate of any other sum that the contractor believe due. Right? So the engineer evaluate. Once you get the whole chunk of paper, the poor engineer will have to evaluate. So how many days he has? 56 days to evaluate them. Right? Okay, then the final product is final certificates that the engineer issued within the 28 days. Engineer has 56 days to review. If you review, okay, your submission is not complete. Can you resubmit? Where is the instruction? Where is the receipt? Where is the drawing? Where is the signed record? Your record is not signed by the clerk of work. All this sort of thing comes out. All the record must be verified. Okay? So after he asked the contractor for more information, the contractor already submitted. Yes, yes. Engineer, yes, I can give you all this. So he submitted. Then the engineer issued the final certificate within 28 days. 28 days. So only get the final certificate 58 plus 28. I thought Chinese only prefer 8 now. English also prefer 8. 58 plus 28 is 86. 86 days for you to get the final certificate. Sorry? Excluding. If you have the extra information, the gap between to submit this, after 58 days, the engineer evaluate, okay, your claim is not complete, your record is not signed by the clerk of work, can you get it signed? Your documentation, where is the instruction? So he kick the ball back to the contractor. If the contractor take a long time to respond to that, then the time will drag longer. After he get all the information, he still has another 28 days to issue the final certificate. Okay, so the process can be very long, depending on how efficient you respond to this request. Alright? So if you don't agree, then the dispute resolution. Why you don't pay for this claim? Alright? Most of the time that is the argument. The contractor thought that he is entitled, but the engineer think otherwise. So dispute. That need to be resolved. Sorry? The dispute doesn't have the defined period to be resolved. It depends on their negotiations. So they need to negotiate and agree. Alright? So the employer must pay the final payment within 56 days. So you already have 86 days to issue the certificate, 3 months, and now the employer has close to 3 months to pay. So 3 months plus 3 months. After 6 months only you get your final payment. 6 months after completion of the work. If you are efficient. If you are not efficient, it can be more than that. So very long gestation period. Yeah, to get the final payment. Okay. JCT SBCQ 2016. The final certificate provide, once you receive the final certificate, what does it mean to you? The work has been completed in accordance with the contract document and all instructions. All adjustment has been made. All extension of time has been given. All loss and expense has been paid. So literally, what does this mean to you? Let's say you finish your project, final certificate has been issued to you. You get the final certificate, okay, you tell your boss, this is our final certificate for the project. Congratulations, we have made it, we have completed this project successfully. Right? After 1 week, the client ring you up. Hello, Mr. Contractor. I just discovered that the marble that you installed is not according to the specification. After 1 week of that final certificate, can you please come and repair? The client tell me. It says here, final certificate provide a conclusive evidence that it has been completed in accordance with the contract document and all instructions. So your response to that sort of request is, Mr. Client, I already have the final certificates. This is evidence that I have completed the work according to the specifications. So I am not obliged to go back and repair. Right? That is the impact of final certificates. Another thing, been granted. Alright? You as a contractor, you get the final certificate, you feel very happy. Oh, so good, we finished this project. Alright? Then you check your record. There are LD deducted for 3 days. 3 days LD, 2,000 per day, 6,000 is deducted from your payment. Then you wonder why this LD is being deducted 6,000. We are entitled for extension of time. By right, this LD should be obsolete. Yeah? But since you ring up the architect, that is the same response that you get from the architect. Mr. Contractor, I'm sorry. Since the final certificate has been issued, there's no more extension of time given to you. This is the final time that is granted to you. Therefore, whatever's included in the certificate is what you get. So the moral of the story is, before you agree to the final certificate, make sure you check it thoroughly. Because the final certificate needs to be signed, accepted by the contractor, confirmed by the architect or the engineer. Make sure you check the detail inside the final certificate thoroughly. Once you have put the signature on the dotted line, that's the end of the story. No more claim, no more time. That is what you get. Okay, so check it thoroughly. Alright, NEC 4. This is the time frame. 4 weeks after the defect certificate. 13 weeks after the terminations. Payment is made 3 weeks of the assessment or any other stated in the contract. So NEC 4 is much more friendlier. Only 3 weeks as opposed to just now it's what? Feeding takes much more longer. Yeah? The client may agree and then pay 3 weeks. If the project manager does not assess within the time stated, the contractor issue his own assessment to the client. Okay, so NEC 4, this is what you need to understand about your rights. If you are managing a project under NEC 4, you submitted the final claim, but no response from the project manager, don't worry, your claim will be used as an assessment to claim that money from the client. Okay? Okay, assessment by project manager or contractor is conclusive. If not agree, can go to dispute resolution. So that's it. On the payment, all the 3 forms has been explained. NEC 4, JCT, and FIDIC. Now, another important thing that is not covered under the slide is the concept of retention. Now, you see retention. I am the contractor, you are the client. Alright? You retain 5%. If the project is 1 million, that means 50,000 you retain. That is my money. Common business sense, if the contractor is smart, they will try to argue with you. Mr. Client, you are holding my money 50,000 for a period of more than a year. When you pay me back, you should pay me with the interest. Because you hold the money, right? Common sense. But the contract doesn't say that. The contract says that the retention is on the basis of the custodian only, with no obligation to invest. So whatever that is retained 50,000, the contractor will only get 50,000, no interest. That's the concept, right? So don't play smart trying to get more money. Boss, I can get more money for you. You hold already 1 year. I think we can charge interest. No, the contract is not like that. Okay? So any questions? Super clear. Oh, no, man. Huh? Anyone? Okay? So who drive a car? Did you park at the roadside there? The car kena saman already? Alright.